Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm the editor of Hitched.
Hi, I'm Maisie. I'm the assistant editor. So the data from our National Wedding Survey is in, and we're going to talk all about music. Zoe, talk us through what music is going to be popular at weddings in 2025.
So this is one of my favourite parts of the survey, looking at the most popular wedding songs for the year. And we've actually got some really juicy data this year.
Okay.
We've got new songs, which I really like, new entries into our top 10 chart. I think it's really interesting that we've talked about the average age of couples, right, in our previous videos. We know that couples are now 35 when they're getting married on average. And that means that we're seeing a particular generation mature. And you can really see that in the song choices, right?
Okay, give me an example.
So the indie kids and the emo kids are getting married now, right? And you can tell because Baby I'm Yours by the Arctic Monkeys is in the top 10.
Oh, I love that one.
Still Into You by Paramore is in the top 10. And 1,000 Years by Christina Perri is in the top 10. And
Twilight era.
Yes, the Twilight era. And do you know what? When I started out in weddings in 2012, this song was everywhere because it had just come out in Twilight. And then it disappeared for a really long time. And this is the first time in ages I've seen it come back. And it is because those people who were like teenagers when Twilight came out, they're now getting married. So it's come back around.
I'm happy to have it back. It's a good song.
So that's the like emo indie influence that we're seeing there. And I really like it because it feels like I feel at home with this group of people. These are my people, you know? But then we've also had a few curveballs too.
Okay, talk me through them.
So Shania Twain has come into the top 10.
Oh, interesting. She's making a comeback. She did have a big year in 2024.
She did have a big year, yeah. So she has made a comeback, but it's not Man, I Feel Like a Woman. It's not That Don't Impress Me Much, as I suppose you'd expect, because that would make an awkward first dance song. But we have Still the One by Shania Twain. That is in the top 10.
Interesting. Okay, so were there any that surprised you that you didn't expect to see?
Yeah, I actually had one into the top 10 that I'd never heard of before, Biblical by Callum Scott.
Oh.
I'm not super familiar with that, but it's come out of nowhere. It's in the top 10.
Yeah, he's
not
making
in the
waves
charts
right now.
at all. Yeah, last year it didn't show up. So that was good. And then also we're so used to seeing Ed Sheeran dominate the wedding music charts, and I know he's Marmite in the world of weddings, right? You either love him or you hate him. And he holds a lot of meaning for a lot of couples. So you usually see a lot of his songs in there. Last year was the first time, I think, since he had appeared on the scene that he wasn't number one when it came to wedding songs. Yeah. And that pattern has continued this year.
Okay.
And we've actually seen fewer songs than normal. Normally you see Thinking Out Loud, Tenerife Sea, they're popular ones. This year, Only Perfect made the top 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, Only Perfect. And the other two did not rank in the top 10.
Are you going to tell me who did rank as number one yet?
I will. We'll get there. We also saw an entry from Frankie Valli with Can't Take My Eyes Off You.
Oh, I love that
which
one.
I like because it gives like 90s rom-com vibes, doesn't it? I think that's really nice. And again, I think it's that generation that grew up on 90s rom-coms. They're getting married now and they want that moment with the classic music, just like, you know, Father of the Bride or things like that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so before you tell me who has ranked at number one for wedding songs this year, can you tell me who you might expect to see next year? Like, what are your predictions for who is going to dominate the charts?
Next year, I think Ariana Grande is going to make an appearance because she has been, rightfully so, everywhere recently. And we do see this pattern. Like, so I can tell you Elvis, Can't Help Falling in Love, is at number 2 in the charts this year.
Okay.
And last year he was number 1. And we saw that because the Elvis film came out, the TV show, there was a resurgence in interest in him, and then it filtered through to weddings.
Interesting. We could be seeing some wicked weddings.
Some wicked weddings. Yeah, I love that. We will see some wicked weddings, I'm sure. And I think Miley Cyrus as well. Again, she's been a constant in people's lives for a long time. And that age bracket is starting to get married. So it's only natural they're going to want Hannah Montana featuring at their wedding, right?
Wow, I would love that.
Yes. And then that brings me on to our most popular song, actually.
Yes, drum
Because
roll.
talking about constants in people's lives, it's Taylor Swift.
Wow.
And she was also everywhere last year, wasn't she?
She is always everywhere.
She is always everywhere. So Lover by Taylor Swift was the most popular first dance song for the year.
Wow. That's a great one, to be fair. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see her wedding next year.
Fingers
Maybe.
crossed.
Who knows? So before we sort of wrap this section up, I'd love to know some tips for people trying to pick their wedding song. It's a really big decision. So if people are struggling, what would you advise?
Don't pay too much attention to top 10 wedding song lists is the first thing I would say, which feels like counterintuitive, I know. But I think people get wound up about the idea of, oh God, it's popular, so I can't have it. Don't let that bother you. Honestly, choose what you love and you won't regret it. If you absolutely love Ed Sheeran, but you think, oh, I can't have him because he's in the top 10, who are you really serving there? Your guests aren't going to sit there eye rolling and saying, well, I've heard this before. They're going to say, this is lovely, this is their song. And it's nice, actually, I think, when you choose a popular song, because you know that it's got such a special meaning that everybody recognizes it. And the fact, somebody said this to me on TikTok, and I thought this was brilliant. The fact that if you choose a popular wedding song, you're more likely to hear it in the wild. That's really nice. You might hear it while you're doing your supermarket shop. You might hear it on an advert. You might be in a taxi and it comes on the radio. And you get to have these moments of, oh, that's our wedding song. Whereas if you pick something really obscure and niche, you miss out on things like that.
That is really interesting. Okay, so if you want to learn more about what music is going to be popular this year in weddings, then head to hitched.co.uk. And if you haven't already, please like, follow and share this video.
And please do put in the comments what music you're having at your wedding, because we really want to hear from you.